Good morning, everyone, or I guess it's afternoon there. Good morning. This is Caroline, my big little sister. We are in Scottsdale, Arizona at CrossFit PHX for our broadcast today. And if you got your email this morning, what we are discussing is flexibility and stretching. Not only the body, but we did address the mind in the email. But today, for the video, what we're going to be focusing on are some pretty basic stretches that are really good to include in your routine, whether you're an athlete, a non-athlete, you're young, you're old. This is great for everyone. So I'm going to have Caroline step back a little bit. And what we're going to start off with is just a basic runner's lunge or a groiner. There's all kinds of different names for it. So I'm going to have her drop down to the ground. You go that way. And she's going to start with 1 foot up outside of her hands. And we're just keeping the back leg on the ground for right now. Palms down on the floor. And I'm going to see if I can adjust this camera just a little bit. Sorry about that. I'm actually going to take this. There we go. My bad. Okay, better view. So Caroline's showing us the runner's lunge here. She's on her hands, which is a great way to start. If maybe this is even too difficult for you to get into, you could come up and just balance or grab onto your knee, grab onto an object nearby. And what she's doing in this position is she's thinking about pressing her hips forwards and keeping the chest up. This will translate the same if she has her hands on the ground. So she's hands on the ground, push the hips forwards, chest comes up. If she wants to take this a step farther, if maybe that's comfortable for her, she can take her outside elbow, so in this case it's going to be the left elbow, down to the ground, still pushing the hips forward and trying to keep the chest up. If she wants to take this even farther, she can start to drop that elbow down. Now what this really works well for is getting hip mobility and flexibility. She's not only getting the hip that's bent right here, but she's getting the front of the left hip that's jutted back. So this is great for low back pain. If you guys have suffered any knee pain, all of that's really connected and related. So she could even, maybe the front of that left hip is a lot tighter, she can change this and bring her hands back up and go arms up overhead, see if we can get her to balance, and press the hips forward and down. So we're really getting into the front of that left hip now. So this is a great one for everybody. Those of you who are active, runners especially, and if you sit all day at your job, this is a great, great stretch to do. So that's our first stretch. Go ahead and stand up for me, Caroline. Second stretch, we talked about this a little bit in the email today, was squatting and always being able to squat. Because what is that? If you fall on the ground, you've got to be able to get back up, and to do that requires flexibility similar to that of a squat. Also, squatting on the toilet, sitting up, standing down, all things like that. We don't want to lose that over time. So all she's going to do here is just squat down to where her depth is comfortable. Now Caroline's pretty flexible, so for her this is a comfortable depth. So we're showing one variation, keeping the chest nice and tall. If you do want to try and hold this a little bit longer, which can be greatly beneficial, we can sink down. She's rounded out a little bit in the back and the lower back and the upper back, and you can do that. She, I know, has done a 10-minute stretch in this position. I would recommend everyone to try that out. She's really getting deep into the hips here by pushing the elbows into the knees, which is another option. Now, if this is difficult for you, feel free, go ahead and stand up, Caroline, to find a chair or a wall, something to hold on to, and give yourself some assistance. So hang on to it, go ahead and squat down. You really want to get as low as you can while keeping those heels firmly planted on the ground. And she can use that object to pull her chest up nice and tall. She can drop a little bit lower, so you can see she's really getting down there now and getting that hip, ankle, and knee flexibility going on. We don't ever want to lose the ability to squat. We tend to sit a lot and lose a lot of flexibility in that position. Okay, go ahead and stand up. Our final stretch, this is kind of a 2-for-1. She's going to go face down on the ground. And this is going to get into some shoulders and some hips, so a little bit of upper and lower to go on. So first thing she's going to start with is a cobra. So she's just pressing through her hands and getting the chest up, keeping the legs down on the ground. This might be extreme for some of you guys. Like I said, Caroline's pretty flexible, so what we can do to modify that, if that's a lot on your lower back, we can go down a little bit lower onto the elbows and lift the chest up and start there. You're still gonna feel some tension in the low back. A lot of times low back pain is linked to the front chain being tight, and that's exactly what we're doing here, is stretching out the abdominals and the front of the hips. So let's bring her back up to her hands. And to get deep into the shoulders here and the chest, she's gonna roll her shoulders back and really push the chest out. And you can see how she's really got a lot going on in the back. Everything's nice and tight, but up in the front, she's got a nice big opening going on here, even through the chest and the shoulders. So this is wonderful. If you want to get a little bit deeper still, we can go into a true up dog, which would be just on the tops of the feet, so the legs are off of the ground, and now we're getting a little bit deeper into the hips and the upper body. So the opposing movement to this is where I was saying it's a 2-for-1, would be in the down dog position. So she's gonna plant her toes on the ground and just push the hips up into the sky. And to really get into those shoulders, what she's trying to think about is opening up through the armpits and pressing the chest back towards the quads. She's also pressing up and back through the shoulders. The hips are up in the sky. We can even get into some good ankle work here. And pressing those heels into the ground. She could even do walk the dog, is where you're just pedaling the feet back and forth, is another great drill to do here. You can start to bring the hands in closer and get a little bit tighter there and experiment with the butt a little bit higher, or the hands out farther has a whole different feel in it too. You can really get into the chest and open up. So that is it for our 3 movements today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you can use these to your advantage. Thanks for joining, Caroline. Hello everyone at home.
Bye.
Have a great day. See you all later.
Bye.
We miss you guys.